So let's just think about all these people and settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And I seeing all the news reporters, they're not only wearing face masks, but they've got like eye protection as well now. So I mean, I'm glad they're being taken care of, but it doesn't look super safe. Okay. So let's just settle and have your feet in a nice, comfortable, seated, about a hip's width apart. We're kind of, oh, maybe just you guys mute. Go ahead, mute yourselves. Got some dinging going on here. And just try and settle. I think, of course, for Sasha, who's actually down there right now and can smell everything and probably can hear sirens and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot to get the mind settled. But to hear if you're kind of breathing in this awful air as well. So just just do your best to try and calm the mind. Align the shoulders with the hips and the ears with the shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Take a nice deep breath. You just go to the crown of the head and just, relax your whole body from the crown all the way down to your feet. Again, just stay like that while I go and close our window. And just be aware of any, disturbances in your environment. So they could be sound, quality of your air, quality of the air, any smells. And then just be aware of what's going on in your mind this evening. So it's, all of us probably have been in different parts of the world where we have experienced somehow the threat of fire. It seems to be getting more frequent. It kind of makes you feel a little bit on alert, particularly if you've got friends and family there, or if even you're living there. So just be aware of what's going on in the mind and just be curious about what you're seeing and how you're approaching yourself, what you're recognizing. And just trying to not have that move into a trauma response. So just notice if somehow you're being triggered and just be curious about that. So don't have any opinions about what's in your mind. Just be curious and notice what comes up when in relation to what. And then be curious about it. And then be aware of all these beautiful people we have in our life, our loved ones, our strangers, and then the ones we don't like, remembering they're all equal. They all wish to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this practice this evening for all these people of our life, and just particularly thinking about all those folks down there in Los Angeles County and spreading. So imagine with this Vajrasattva practice that perhaps we're dumping, water on that whole area. Imagine also calming down the winds. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and of all of our past lives. And think about why we're regretting, and it's based on this logic of karma. And so everything we do, say, think has a karmic reaction, has a cause and a reaction. Cause reaction. So if you want to stop this cycle, it makes sense to pull these seeds out before they ripen as future suffering. So we think, I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech and broken my vows, and because I don't want any future suffering. And then regret our delusions, anger, anxiety, depression, all these kinds of things. And then we think about the power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we're not relying on Buddha. We're not relying on Buddha in this way that we want him to come along and forgive us. We're relying upon his medicine. So you can imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. So you have that image in front of you. Because we're running late, I won't run through it. But just imagine you have this ball of healing light on the crown of your head. Also, this Vajrasattva is the manifestation. You can imagine the manifestation of your teacher, the mind of your teacher appearing in this form for your benefit. So that's all you need to know for this. So we go to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So then we just think about developing compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we've ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you, and particularly have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. And then we come to the power of remedy. So think about Vajrasattva very compassionately sending powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mempiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Drita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpiyatsa sawa kamasita me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech, the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs, all our speech that lacks wisdom, useless speech, and all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is this purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being, and just kind of purifies all our attachment, neediness, anger, depression, resentment, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, anxiety. All of this instantly dispelled, all our delusions by this light. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipukaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipukaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now we purify even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. Imagine that Vajrasattva sends, light and nectar. So the nectar kind of purifying the body, and then the speech, so going down and then up, and then the light coming as well, and just kind of blasting it. So it's all happening all at once. And it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from our mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. So this is a really important step in where we make a decision. So just decide. First of all, rejoice in your efforts coming along tonight. And then just decide, I want to refrain from harming with my body, my speech, my mind. And think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow evening. Maybe just choose one thing. And maybe that thing is, in part of your decision is to start recognizing, some of those deluded ways in which we think. And I'm not talking about full-blown, psychiatric disorder here. I'm talking about ruminating a little bit too much or getting anxious over something that you don't have any control over, just things that when you have a trauma response to something, notice when it's happening. And they have no judgment about it. Just notice and be curious. Just be curious and compassionate. And then have this little thing that you want to work on. Maybe all you're going to do is work on it for like a minute or something. Think about it for a minute, maybe journal it. And then that's just delightful. We're, kind of being our own therapists here. And maybe you're already in therapy and you're working with a therapist. So maybe work with them on something. So let's just dedicate all the, Vajrasattva is delighted, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So then we just think a little bit about emptiness. So just tonight, just simply think the way things exist, the way we think things exist, might not necessarily be the way they do exist. So we just cast your mind there for a moment. Have a little bit of doubt about how solid we think things are, how permanent we think things are. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do some of those verses, 3 of our verses. We lost a person. Okay. with purified afflictive spheres at heart. Whoop, where are we? Okay, infused with scents from bloom on Bodhi's branches, an ocean of Tathagata virtues, with knowledge of the Eightfold Path's true way, with knowledge of the path of perfect Buddhas. A great attachment of all living beings, attachment-free, comparable to space, when springing up in every creature's mind, he is, for every being, as swift as mind. Aware of all the aptitudes of beings, while captivating every creature's mind, with insight into aggregated natures, himself will fully pure, with fully pure five aggregates. Okay. Thank you so very much. All right, everyone. Lots of love. Please stay safe there. Sasha, do what the emergency people tell you to do. Okay. Get out of there if you need to. All right. Lots of love, everybody. And I'm so sorry for those of you who've got relatives and friends down there in the Los Angeles area. And lots of love to all of those people. And do take care. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Okay. Thanks for hosting.